Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the technical trader from the techtrader.com, a site that has been around since 2001, I should say. It's going to be 25 years in July. And I've been doing this for over 50 years. Long time experience in Wall Street. Wrote a book on tactical trading called Profitable Day in Swing Trading. And I'm delighted to be here again. You can join me for free for 2 weeks by just signing up. No credit card necessary. Come on in and join the party, have some fun, make some money. It's a really great place to be. There's a lot of very smart people that do with me, upwards of 15 and 20 years, some of them, but it's a place that where you can learn and be mentored, but not just by me, but by some of the people in the room who enjoy doing that. More importantly, we trade 1 minute intraday charts. We do swing trades as well, but the intraday daily stuff is done on 1 minute charts using my 50 plus years of experience doing that and pattern recognition. And that's the key to being successful in trading. Number one, being disciplined, focused, and prepared. If you're prepared in the morning, and I prepare you for the most part when you come in my room, I give you targets and stops at every stock. And then I'll guide you along the way with live web videos and webinars all day. Every evening, I give you a charts of the day webinar, and the weekend I spend hours going over thousands of charts and doing the weekend webinar for you. That is a very elucidating summary of what went on at Wall Street and what we can expect for the next week. Okay, let's get started. Right. Okay, that was, by the way, that was a trade we did today. OKTA popped and then flagged all morning. And when it broke out right at the opening, we put a buy on it at 104. And as you can see, later in the day, reached 124 for a 20-point day trade. And most of us were in that until the very end. I gave them a target at 123, 1 3/4 to 124. And I think it tagged right at that level at the end of the day. Right, 124.66 was tagged. So everyone met their targets. But for individual targets were 109 and 114. I raised them to 118, 21, and 24.5 range. So that's what we do all day. We give you the charts. We show you what the patterns look like. I'll raise my stops and my targets all day until we're either out of it or looking for more. All right, anyway, let's get to some symbols, and I'm going to give you my take on whatever I see out there stock-wise. Leon wants to know about MYRG. My take on the daily chart is it's obviously a very extreme stock and it's a strong group. The engineering construction group has been very strong in the last couple of years. I'll show you some. You can see several examples of stocks that have done incredibly well. Now, this one started its big move back here when it broke out a year ago in April. And you can see that in May, actually technically broke out in June. Pulled back and retested and then channeled up. Recently, it accelerated, and now is what I consider an ascending bull flag. This is very bullish. However, what I would do now is when I see a stock that's gone this far and forming this kind of a pattern, the first thing I look for is where's the pullback low? That will be 419 here, 422 there. So the 419.22 3-point zone is your support. I put a stop at 418 roughly. And you're good to go. Where would the measured move be? Well, at this point, really, do you believe 560 might be a target? 550-60 zone is my target on this one up there. And it based on the angle of ascent, based on the way this looks, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to reach that. So I hope that's pleasing to you, Leon. MYRG targeting a swing to about 550-65 range. And for the next question on Tesla, TSLA. Tesla's really outshone a lot of the stocks in the NASDAQ 100. It obviously looked bad for a few months here. This V bottom, right hand extended, run up to resistance, pull back, and test the moving averages. And that wedge in a 1, 2, 3, 4 has a fifth wave started, and the fifth wave projects somewhere up around, I'd have to say, as long as the market keeps going, no reason why Tesla can't get back to 500 or near it. 495 to 500 is my target. We have a question on XLE. To me, it's a very toppy looking pattern. I could be wrong, but here's a level you want to pay attention to. In fact, okay, obviously, broke out of a massive multi-year base, ran up sharply, and now it's consolidating. Or is it? Or is it topping? One can't tell until it either breaks out above that level or breaks down below that level. It's closer to breaking down than out. You can look at the underlying technicals and show the deterioration in the technicals here, never a good thing. It's not like there's the big divergence. There isn't. And your key support has to be roughly 55 and the spike low here at 53.40. So somewhere in that 53.5, 55 zone is critical support. As we break that, we're looking at 49.50. And on the upside, obvious resistance is 61.5, but the multi-year high of 63.5, roughly in that area. 61.5, 63.5 would be my targets. And then on a longer term basis, if we, in fact, this is going to make a much bigger move, this is the energy sector, right? It looks pretty toppy to me. I'd rather be short than long on this because I think oil's coming down anyway, but that's just me. Until the trend changes, the trend is your friend. The move from 44.5 to 63, let's see, 19 points would give me a measured move of 72. So we can say if it breaks out of this pattern, I would look for a run all the way up in this range here. Somewhere around mid-range, 66. So 66 and 72 longer-term targets if it breaks out. If it breaks down, obviously you know where that's going. I still favor the downside based on technicals and based on the overall pattern. That's my take on Tesla. For Zach, I'm sorry, XLE. Now, Patel, I've seen him before. Patel Devendra wants to know about PS. I believe that's public storage, isn't it? Pershing Square, okay. Recent IPO. Yeah, anytime you see a 1, 2, 3 and a pullback of that nature, about a 0.375 Fibonacci, that is my support. So if this is going to work, then you don't want to blow the pullback low, call a stop under 34. And if it should get back above the 40, call it 42.5, 3 zone, it's 41.5, 42 above here is where I think it can accelerate. I would retarget somewhere around 46.7 and then beyond that in the low 50s. It's not a bad chart. Anytime you see a spike and a pullback Fib retracement, it often does extend. I like the low volume and a pullback. I like to see some volume pick up as it moves back above 41.5. It should start seeing some good volume. If there's any other questions on any other symbols, folks, please post them and I'll get to you. OKTA. Well, you know, it's funny. Some of the stocks like some of the European banks, Deutsche Bank and some of the others, OKTA and a couple other European stocks have done very, very well, especially in the last year, 6 months, a year. You can see that OKTA, let me go back to a weekly chart, had built a big base going back, and I'm not kidding now, 10, 12 years. No, Microsoft did that for 15 years and took off. I'm not saying this is another Microsoft because it's obviously not, but the one thing to consider is there is a 17-year resistance level up in this zone, but anything that's that far back is less meaningful. At this point, when you're looking at the trend, let's look at the daily chart. Beautiful rising channel, It got right up to the target zone of resistance at around 16 3/4, reaching 16.62 and backed off. If this is going to continue its trend, then my next target is 18 3/4, possibly 21, 22 in the next few weeks, if the market cooperates. If not, support is around 13, and then beneath that about 12 and 12.10. So those are levels to watch. I would not be shocked to see a pullback test of that area where the rising 50 comes in, something like maybe there. In that zone there towards 12.5 3/4. So be careful, because you can see that 3 days in a row down now with not light volume. So it's being sold. And it was 5 days in a row here before the 3-day really rallied. So if you take a look at the overall structure, 8 of the last 11 days, this has been on the downslope. Although it made a higher high, that's always constructive. The internal trend channel line is also keeping it in force, and that basically means it needs to hold it there, or it's going to test there. Do I like this overall? Of course I do. Nothing not to like. And that was for Pat. Zachary wants to know about MTZ. No, that was Raleigh wants to know about MTZ. MTZ is weakening. Another engineering construction firm. Look at this thing go. From April of 1 year ago, it was under 100. And by May 6th, it was 441. So something that was up 4.5 times its value. But if you take a look further back at 23, the stock was trading at 50. So it's really gone eightfold in the last few years. Now, anytime an angle of an ascent changes, take a look at this. This is a tight channel, but when it goes on for months, you have to respect it. In addition, each time the stock came down, it went a higher low, and then a higher low. Here it's making a lower low. What does that mean? For me, it means that the trend channel and the entire trend for the stock is probably changing. If you take a look at today's action, big downside volume right on the 50-day moving average. This is as far as you want it to go. Absolutely. When I see a stock that's been in a long uptrend, it's been hugging its 50-day moving average, and suddenly there we are, I would not be surprised to see a breakdown from here. If it does break down, it's vulnerable down to 300, 15.20. So this stock could be hammered. And by the way, this pattern, after breaking down here, let's see, it dropped 32 points in 1 day, cracking the moving averages and the trend line. And since then, a week and a half of sideways action. That's a bear flag, my friend. So you're going to have to say to yourself, do I want to protect this position? Do I have a long-term profit in it? Or even if it's a short-term profit or even a short-term loss, you want to protect yourself from a much bigger loss. Let's go into an hourly chart. You can see it more distinctly. See how the trend channel broke? The stock snapped back. It's called the kiss back. Notice that the moving averages rolled over, and they're coming down now. It's in danger territory. If it breaks here, it's very vulnerable to a further slide. So that's what I wanted you to know, and take care with this one. EZPW. Let's look at the daily chart. Another one with a big run up, massive waves from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like this here, folks, is a very big sell signal to me. This is called a engulfing reversal bar, and a huge one where it spikes up to 37.12 and it closes 5 points below that, or something like that. Tries to bounce, comes back down and tests. Bounces again. Here's where the key support is. Guess what it did today? That's right, it broke it. So Leon, if you're in this stock, I think it was you that asked that, yes. This is one to exit immediately or go short. That's my opinion. Now, I think the stock could come down to 27.5, maybe as low as 24.5 near term. I'd be very concerned if I were you. The angle of ascent shows a couple things. Other than the outside spike to a high and the pullback now, it's testing in 50. Now, technically, initial support broken. Has the channel broken? No. Has the 50-day moving average broken? No. So if you're still in it and you wish to hold it, I can understand that, but you better stop under 29. That really breaks the stock. Now look at VST for Bapam. Well, anyway, VST is a stock I really loved for a long time. When it broke out, take a look at this. Here's a weekly chart. Beautiful base breakout. And when a stock does that, and starts to accelerate, and does it in massive waves, it looks to me like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. It's turned sloppy. It's not over yet. For me, this pullback lows in here, when it broke there, that would have been my exit point. About 179.80 would have been my out. Subsequently, it went down to 132 and bounced. And its snapback here has taken it to the declining channel top, roughly. Now, if it does break out, and it's a good company in the right area, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 tops in this area. So what you're looking for is confirmation of a breakout above 168.9, and then a run to 182, 183. Once that's broken, if it's broken, then you can be on your way to higher levels. For now, the two resistance levels are this 168 and 183 are your targets. What I do want to point out to you is the longer a stock comes into downtrend, the more likely is that it wants to break out. See this cluster of volume coming off the low? 4 days in a row thrusting from 135 to 167.68. The pullback here has got you setting up what looks like a V bottom at a right hand extension. Your support's about 150.52, and your resistance about 169. Should you get to 169, then your target is 182 and above. Be careful though, if you're in a downtrend, you could stay in a downtrend until things change. The unbalanced volume is improved, but it hasn't thrusted. With the price back up to the prior highs, the OBV is nowhere near it. That is a negative divergence, so I would be awfully careful about getting too excited about this one just yet. Next is CMPS. And CMPS happens to be a swing trade of the tech trader. Now, when it broke out above, it had the breakaway gap and pullback and started to move, we put a swing on it. I believe it was around 9.5. It subsequently made it up to 13.10 today. And I told my people, you're at resistance here from the early 24 high. And you can see that if you get through this level, there's room to run all the way to 21.22. Stock could literally double from here. The problem is it's already had a big thrust and multiple waves up. For me, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave 1 and 2. This is wave 3. You could get a wave 4 before the 5th wave takes you in that range. So be wary of the fact that although it's looking really good here, one or two things are going to happen quickly, I think. Either a blowout or a pullback retest down towards 10, 10.5. So be very careful with this one. But the momentum is strong, OBV is rising. Next question is on DSL and EVV. DSL is a looks like a fund. You can see the downtrend that it's in. See, my eyes are immediately drawn to channels and targets and stops and stuff. And I always look for where prior lows were, where prior highs are. If you're interested in this stock, what you really want to see is a move over 11, 20, 25 range. Once it gets above that, it breaks the declining tops line. The moving averages already seem to be trying to curl up and curl over. It's not a successful retest of the lows. It's a promising base pattern, but let me warn you, it has not broken out yet. So if it does go, I would have to give you a target around 11 and 3/4 and upwards of 12 and a half in that area. It's not a big beta stock. It's more of a fund type stock. Fund, F-U-N-D. EVV. What the heck happened there? This is a strange chart. Oh, another fund. Yeah, it's hard to chart funds. It really is because of the way they value their assets overnight. Where's resistance on this? 985 and 1035. Those are potential targets if you're trading a fund, which I don't know if you are, but I always look for where resistance and targets are. This one's in a nasty little downtrend, but it looks like a big bullish reversal bar today. I can't tell what or why, and whether it's even real, but that's my take. And for Palantir, this was looking pretty dire until the last couple of days. What I mean by that is, take a look at this. I actually put this on my short list because it had a left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Despite how good this company is and what they're up to, it formed a bear wedge and broke down, but it never broke the low. And then it came down and retested and formed a wedge. All the while during this action, the unbalanced volume stayed steady. It didn't deteriorate. It wasn't really being sold. When I realized that, I took it off my short list. And take a look what happened. 133 to 157, 24 points in 2 days. And you're coming up to a resistance level on Palantir that if it gets through 160, the stock could run into the 70s, 170s, 180s again. Good thrust, good volume today too. A mere 89 million shares traded as the stock jumped 9%. Very big stuff. And it broke its trend channel line as well. If anyone else has a question, please post it now. Let's see, we only have a few minutes left, it looks like. I'm going to go over some trades that I put out this morning. Oh, we do have a post here on EVER. EverQuote. Well, I would have told you something else 2 weeks ago, but now let me explain something to you. Nice double bottom, strong rising channel, and a platform, but it broke down. And when you break a pattern that took months to develop, it does a lot of technical damage. I would try to, go break back out, which it did, but it pulled right back to the breakout point, filled that little gap. Now it has what I consider bear flag, meaning if this doesn't break to the upside, it could cause another leg down. That, my friend, is a bear flag. Unless I see a price volume surge over, let's call it 20 and a quarter, then it's vulnerable to lower levels, in my opinion. This is a sloppy chart, especially since the pop 1 day only had no follow through. That always bothers me. Any other symbols, folks? Any stock? Okay, I'm going to show you some of the tech trader swings that we have going on right now. Hang on a second, I want to pull that up. Be right with you. Okay. So I put on a couple swings recently I want you to see. Okay, there they are. So RXT, major explosive breakaway move, pullback. Notice that the pullback, this is something I look for, came near or slightly below or at the gap. It held it, popped up, went back up to the moving average, and had a breakaway gap above that moving average, above that prior high. So to me, in an LA wave stance, it's a 1, 2, 3. This is wave 4. Now, wave 4 might take some time, but I decided that because it held the pullback to the support at the gap, this one might have a chance of running, particularly if the market doesn't top out. Again, a floating, rising tide floats all boats, right? If my target now, its stock is 515. My targets are 7.5, 10, and 12 on this one. That's RXT. They had a big announcement recently too. DGXX, powerful move. Broke out of a base to the 1, 2, 3, and it's setting up a beautiful bull coil. I think it's going to explode and go into the high teens, low 20s. I do have another symbol. Let's go back to LWLG for Jones. Here's my problem. This was a tech trader swing. I took it off. Why? Beautiful chart here. Broke the trend channel. Notice the moving average is now flattening out and about to roll over. This is a left shoulder, a double head, and a right shoulder. And a weak one at that. The volume pattern is there for a head and shoulder pattern. It looks like it's going to crack and die. First support, 9. Second support, all the way down here at 7. If you look at the overall structure of this pattern, it's a 1, 2, 3. Wave 4 may be underway, which could pull it back a little bit further. So be careful, Jones, on this one. Be very careful. Put a stop in my opinion, under this range. 10.5. It closed less than that. What did it close today? Got at 1040. It closed at 1082. So it's at that point where it could break down and get hammered back. And just the measure move alone could take you down to, like 8.5, 3/4. So it's dangerous. It's had 5 days in a row of distribution, and 9 of the last 11 days have been down. It's just not conducive. If you're long, you better think twice about it, or at least play it with a stop in place. This could be your new downtrend, and it points down towards 8. Anyone else has a question, let me know. Couple more ideas, and then we can call it good. But for now, what time is it? Yeah, we're time's almost up. Because I'm the last speaker, I can take a little bit more time. TE, look at this long-term chart. Beautiful base, breakout, retest, pop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth wave is well on the way. Again, this one could last into the mid to high teens, if not more. Today, the last couple of days were down days, but slightly lower volume too. That's a good sign. I'm looking for this one to make a move into the 13 and 16 range. Like ASPI, inverse head and shoulder, breakaway gap, pops through the neckline, and today was kind of an inside stall day, like the market itself. My targets were 8.5 and 11. They still are. You can see the downtrend broke, moving averages crossed over, the base is complete, breakaway gap occurred, and you're on your way. Here's one I'm very intrigued about because it comes from one of my major institutional sources. It's uncannily correct. It's called Broadwind. Spiked up, popped up, and then it has a falling wedge. You got to wait on falling wedges, but if this gets over 410, we're looking at 5.5 and 7. Very intriguing pattern. AEVA is a swing trade for the tech traders. When it came out of the base, I put a swing on it right there. It then retested and went vertical. It's now consolidating again. I think it's not done yet. Looking for 33 38. Folks, yeah, if you still have time, if you want me to give you a take on some of your positions, throw out a symbol. I'm liking some of the quantum stocks again, in particular Rigetti and QBTS. Both of them inverse head and shoulder breakout of wedges. Same thing here. This group could explode again if the market stays together and it isn't over yet, and we have another few weeks of bull market. Who knows what? You never know with this market. But you know where to stop it? It would be under the neckline, and the targets on Rigetti are up in that 30, 35, 40 range. One of my favorite picks this year was Navitas, MTZ. We first started trading this stock when it broke out a breakaway gap here in a 4 or 5 range. It had a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, LA wave move. We sold it. It built a base. It broke out. We went back in 11.5 to 35, 33 and 82 to be exact. 5 ways up. We sold it. I still like it though. I'm not sure how far it can go though. We'll see. If anyone else has a question, please post it. It doesn't look like I think you guys are done. I'll give you a couple more of my swing trades and we'll call it good for today. Here's the real cheap stock that you may be interested in that has a great looking overall base pattern. Check out the weekly chart on this one. And we traded it from here to there, and now it's built a beautiful base and breaking out again. Look at the action late in the day today. Breakout. I think CRNT makes it to 3.5, 4.5, and 5 3/4, 6. OSS is another tech trader swing. When it came through the double top, I put a swing on it right there at about 13. It's made it up to 1850 and still looks higher with a target of 22. You can see the kind of charts we look at. We look for trends, stocks that are coming out of consolidation patterns and bullish trends. Since we've got time, I'll do a couple more. Alst has been a great successful trade for us. It broke out of the falling wedge after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave Elliott wave decline. It broke out. It retested twice. It broke out again. It retested again. It spiked up. Today, jumping another 3.79 or 9%. But it's already gone from 24 to 46 in just about 5 weeks. I'm very pleased with that one. If it goes anywhere near the long-term channel top, this could be 60 or 70 bucks. And a little Copen. We made a lot of money with this one in the past. After coming out of the falling wedge and breaking out right there, give you a swing on a low price stock, 2 3/4. It went up to 6.45. It still looks like it could be $8 or $9. I think that's going to be it, David, for today.